This reading is for Capricorn for the new year of 2022. This is just a general overview for you, something to contemplate and think about what's coming in the next year. Happy birthday to those of you who are having a birthday around this time, which for Capricorn is almost all of you. And one really great omen and a great way to start out the year is that there's a beautiful new moon on January 2nd, and it's in your sign. And I just think that's such excellent luck, right? Because it's really just a quadruple whammy of new beginnings, the new year, your own personal new year, which is because you're a Capricorn. The sun is going around the earth again one more time in 2022, and it's starting for you on your birthday. So you've got your personal new year, you have the actual new year, and you have a new moon in your sign. And so what I'm going to say for Capricorns this year, it actually just feels like it's time for new beginnings. I'm going to be looking at energies that support you this year. I'll be looking at energies that you'll need to work with that may be a bit of a challenge this year. And then I will be looking at your love life and your career and just a general overview as well. Okay, so the energies that support you this year. Taking action on inspired ideas. So not only is this energy about inspiration, but it goes one step further and it says taking action on inspiration. So for those of you that are into astrology, go look at what parts of your chart are ruled by fire. That may be where some inspiration's coming in this year, and then you can just use that amazing Capricorn follow through to act on the inspiration. So that is what will be supporting you in 2022. What will be challenging for some of you, depending on who you are, since this is such a general reading, but it will be something that I'll call a sense of lack, okay? So for some of you, it may be emotionally feeling like something's missing. For others of you, it may be you literally are having financial issues. So what I'll say is that it's going to be really important to address these things. This is a minor arcana energy, so it will probably just be one part of your life that feels affected by a sense of wanting more, needing more. Now, because the energy that supports you is, new revelation and new action, one of the things that you can do if you do come to a point this year around worrying about finances, worrying about your love life, feeling like something's missing maybe spiritually, is to look for inspiration and then act on it. Okay. Now let's see the energy surrounding your love life for 2022. All right. Excellent. So now this can mean many different things for different people, but some of you are in the process of releasing a relationship. And the good news is that on the other side of that, there's fresh energy again, this like new inspirational, passionate energy. So if you are in the process of releasing a relationship right now, just know that this will pass, and some really great new prospects and new passion is on the horizon. I will say if you're single and you are, feeling a little bit down about that, it's really important that you tell yourself a new story. This card oftentimes talks about negative thinking processes, and also telling yourself a story that isn't helping you. So what I'm going to say is, if you've been single for a while and you're like bummed out, really work on getting inspired by other people's stories, by different elements of media, like books or videos, or and just start telling yourself a new story and start thinking a lot more positive, because the fact is you may be missing new opportunity because of thinking negatively. And now, to go to people that are in a long-term relationship, what this is really talking about is if you can end a pattern that has been really not healthy, or is not bringing happiness to you or your partner. If you can work on releasing that habit, then new passion awaits for you. So now I'm going to be pulling some cards on your career path, your work path, your chosen path. Okay, but this is more what I'm thinking about, things in terms of, what you're doing for money, such as business and things like that. Oh, very interesting. Okay, so for many of you this year, bringing in, okay, how can I put this? This is a really adult, sort of emotionally intelligent energy. And so for many of you this year, bringing in an element, not just using your mind, but an element of interconnection to what you're doing more than you have been doing, reaching out to others, being part of a community, really bringing an emotion to your work life, your career life, whether you're working for a company or you're an entrepreneur. This is saying this year, actually making connection, and like human connection, could be amazingly beneficial. And, sort of riding on the coattails of that is that doing this may bring you into new territory where you're like, oh, wow, okay. I just realized maybe I've been doing something a way that needs to change, and you're going to feel like, oh, I'm afraid to rock the boat. This may be happening whether you start, if you are thinking about doing it or not. These energies are really about moving into more interpersonal connection and suddenly having intuitions about where you should go, what you should do. But if you do, it's a new way of doing it, and it's a little scary because you're afraid to rock the boat. Right away, remember the energy that supports you this year, it's having an inspiration and moving on that. The thing that will challenge you is letting a fear of loss take over. And it's a balancing act, but there you go. Okay, so now I'm going to be looking at just the general, weather for you this year. Your general sort of blueprint of what this year is going to be bringing. Oh, that's beautiful. Oh, and so is that. Okay, so the first energies coming in are really strong, pretty transformational. And your outcome is amazing. So, like I said at the very beginning of your reading, this sense of like going into the new day, the new chapter, the new, the new year, the personal new year, the new moon, all that, it's all aligning in a way that wants you to sort of take a calculated risk for happiness. And the fact of the matter is this is the first card in the deck. So your outcome is literally jumping into a new era. Now, this can be in different degrees. For some of you, that's just one part of your life you're going to be doing that. For other of you, you might just be like, oh my God, I've got to take some risk here to get out of whatever. And I will say this, that if I'm reading it that way, starting with this Empress energy is great. The Empress really likes her creature comforts. She really gets a lot of information through her five senses. She is a pillar of strength for a lot of people. But something, especially with this card up here, may be happening either in a big way or a subtle but profound way, where you start moving away from what is comfortable for you and you move into Tower territory. Now don't be afraid of this card, because the rest of this reading is so positive. This is more about having aha moments, but what I will say is the truth will set you free. And there's an indicator that for some of you, not all of you, you're going on what I would call like a road to recovery of some sort, and that's linked with seeing something clearly. And that can be, again, it seems to be moving away from something that's so comfortable that you suddenly are like, oh my gosh, I need to just sort of jump into something new because it is time for more fresh energy. Well, if any card is going to be bringing in new energy, it is the Tower. That lightning bolt, it's usually a lightning bolt of truth. And then it sets things in motion. You this year are being represented as this really dynamic energy, okay? This is what I would say, the Knight of Swords. This represents a lot of movement. So I think, but it's also put together with the Chariot, which is all about being able to go for a long-term goal. If you are wanting to, you can achieve that. I feel like this reading for you, Capricorn, is about, in your way, which isn't as oftentimes reckless as other signs, but in your way, having a bit of a personal revolution, a personal transformation, and it may feel scary, but I think that there'll be a restlessness growing that you're just not really going to be able to ignore, and your outcome is gorgeous. I mean, this is such a fun, lively, exciting energy about really embracing a new path. I hope you enjoyed this reading. I will be doing readings for every week if you want to check back, and I'm just calling it the weekly vibe check-in. But this is for you for the year 2022, and it looks really dynamic and really hopeful. So take care, Capricorn, and have a great new year.